Unfortunately, it wasn't until later in my career that I really realized the obligation I had. And it struck me on the 9/11 cruise, and it really struck me in the latter tour I had where I was a commanding officer, is at that position, at the senior ranks of officers on an aircraft carrier with 5,000 people, I really began to understand that my ethnicity was something that the sailors across the aircraft carrier could identify with. And I'd have, if I was walking down in the lower decks of the ship or on the flight deck, it was not uncommon for an Asian enlisted member or another officer to reach out and just say hello, because again, they saw, this is the point where I really began to see that in my position, they saw the realm of the possible, if that makes sense. So that's really where I began to understand the obligation. But really, once I put on a flight suit, I put on my flight boots, I got in an airplane, I was a sailor or an officer that had a charter to perform a mission. I think Team Rubicon in my journey here has really been a result of that journey in life, leaving Minnesota after a year in college, going to the Naval Academy. Then really, as I became an officer, I kind of found my calling to serve. I really found clarity in the mission. I found clarity and connection in the people I served with. And then I found kind of my next home and identity as an officer. And that was what it gave to me, and also the obligation I had as an officer to take care of the people around me and who worked for me. When I transitioned out of the military in 2013, and began my retirement journey, I found that a lot of that was missing. I was a contributor at a company. I was doing, I had vast responsibilities, but I like to say, those muscles I'd built for service in the military, I wasn't exercising all of them. So I got connected with Jake Wood, who is the co-founder of Team Rubicon. And over the course of a few years, we just developed this relationship. And finally in 2016, he said, "Hey, Art, this is something that I think, you should consider doing." I'm at this point, 2.5 years into my first transition out of the military. And the calling was just incredibly strong and overwhelming to make this transition into something that felt closer to what I'd done in the military.